Today I'm going to show you a lamb recipe to really impress. Hi, welcome along to Barbecue Life, home of the Kamado Bono. My name's Tom, and as I said at the beginning, today we're going to be doing some lamb. So we're doing lamb leg steaks in a Mediterranean style with some peppers and some other bits as well. And this is an absolutely fantastic recipe. Wicked for something like date night or a little light lunch. The opportunities are endless. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump straight in where we're going to make our sort of baste for our lamb, and we want to make this ahead of time. It's going to give all these flavours time to infuse, and that's why it's the first thing we're doing in the video. So into a little bowl you want to be going in with half a lemon. So this is just the juice, we don't need the zest for this particular recipe. Just get that juice into a bowl. Then we're going to go in with some rosemary leaves. So just pick these off of the stalk and then roughly chop them, and that's just going to help the oils come out of the rosemary and really flavour our lemon juice and our olive oil that we're going to add now. So a nice little glug of olive oil on there, and that is just going to keep things loosening up and work really well with that rosemary. And then we're going to go in with a crushed garlic clove. So just get that in. If you don't have a garlic press, then you can mince it up very, very small. And we're just, as I say, just going to let this, the lemon juice and the rosemary and the garlic, infuse this oil, and we'll baste this onto our lamb leg steaks. So quick show you of these lamb leg steaks. Now they're not particularly thick. These were already pre-cut at the butcher's, and he hadn't got any more that he was willing to cut up for me. So these are about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick, not as thick as I would like. So I'm going to show you a quick little hack that is going to allow us to get a beautiful matte colour on the outside, but still keep it medium rare on the inside. So we're going to take both these lamb steaks and we're going to stick them in the freezer before we start cooking. So these are going to get super, super cold, even starting to just freeze just slightly. So we don't want them completely frozen, but they can be a little bit more rigid for when we're adding them to the grill. So you get these in the freezer just while we are lighting up the Kamado. So half an hour, 40 minutes is about right. So with our Kamado today, we're going in with Texas Club charcoal in the bottom as always. Get a couple of little fire lighters in there and get them lit. Once them fire lighters have gone out, we now need to start setting up for 2-zone cooking, which is what we're doing today. So we're going in with our half moon deflector on one side, and then we get our grill grates on, and on the half moon deflector side we want our grill grate at the highest level, and on the direct side we want our grill grate on the lowest level. So we're going to dial in our temperatures for about 200 degrees, so 1.5 fingers in the bottom vent, and the top vent set to about number 2 is about 200 degrees in these warmer temperatures. You might want it slightly more open as we're going into the colder months. So we're going to leave that to start coming up to temp, and we need to start preparing our peppers. So these peppers are homegrown. We've taken these straight out of the greenhouse. So this recipe would also work fantastically well with the long sweet peppers. These are long sweet peppers, but they've only grown to 2.5 inches long in the greenhouse at home. But if you want to buy one from the supermarket, then the long sweet peppers are absolutely ideal for this, and you're just going to need half a pepper per person or per steak that you are doing. So with my little peppers, I'm just going to cut them in half and de-seed them. Same thing you do your large one, just to make sure you get all the seeds out of there. And then we need to prepare our fillings. So we've got some sun-dried tomatoes and some olives, but you can mix it up. If you don't like either of those, and you can omit one or both, or mix it up with some other things. Anything Mediterranean-y in flavour is going to work really well to fill these little peppers, and once we've seared them off. So our grill is up to 200 degrees, and on that low grill grate, on that direct side, we want to get the peppers skin side down on there first. I'm just going to gain a bit of colour on the outside of these peppers. We don't want to completely char them, we just want to slightly soften them and really start to get a bit of colour on the outside, and it's just going to make it look a bit nicer at the end. And that char is going to add to the flavour, but as I say, we don't want to really over char them. Once you've got a little piece of colour on there, we can move these over to that indirect side. That's on the higher grill grate level, over above that deflector plate. So once they're over there, we now need to go in with our fillings. So I'm just going to spoon in some of these olives and the sun-dried tomatoes. Once I've got them full, and crumble some nice feta over the top of that as well. It's going to give us a really nice saltiness to this lamb. and balance out all of these flavours. So we've got these, let's say they've had that sear and they're just going over the other side. We're warming up the rest of them fillings inside these peppers, and we're just finishing them off so that they're beautifully tender over on that indirect side. Now it's time to get our lamb out of the freezer, and we're going to go some salt just on the side that we're going to be going down first, so just get that nicely salted, and then we're going to go straight onto the grill on that lower side. We want to open our vents completely up now, get them open up so that temperature can really rise. The peppers can take that. They're over the other side, they've got that deflector plate in, so they're not going to receive the direct heat. They're just going to have the ambient heat coming across the top. So we're going to get that coming out really high, get these lamb steaks on, and we want to go 1 minute on that direct heat, and we're going to put a bit of baste on the top. That baste we used to begin with, that we've had sitting off for a couple of hours, just get yourself a pastry brush and just baste the top of it. After 1 minute, we're quarter turn it. And this hopefully will give us some really nice grill marks on the bottom, little cross hatches that we get. And if you made sure your grill was really clean beforehand, and you've now got your grill grate up really high in heat, then you should be able to get these cross hatch marks. So we've turned it, that quarter turn, again, put a bit more baste on the top. And then we are going to flip it over. As you can see, we've been quite successful with that cross hatch. As soon as we flipped it, we're going to baste again. And then leave for 1 minute, and then quarter turn again and baste again. We only had 4 minute cooking time at this point in time. Go in with your instant read thermometer, and you want to check that internal. So around 52, 53 is where I want to be taking this, and then rest it up. This 4 minutes for this thickness of steak is absolutely perfect. If you've got a thicker steak, then you're going to want to be cooking for sort of maybe 1:20, minute and a half each quarter turn and flip, and that's going to give you a bit more time to get up to that internal temperature of around 52. And as I say, once we rest this is going to sit at a nice medium rare. If you want to take it a bit further, if you don't want it medium rare, you want it a bit more medium, then you can take it up on your temperatures. But this is what we are going for today. So we're going to take this off, and the most important thing we need to do with all meats when we take them off the barbecue is let it rest. We're just going to pop this onto a chopping board, and we're going to leave it for 5 minutes. It's going to let the juices redistribute throughout the meat, and it's going to give us a much tender bite. If we cut it straight into this now and start eating it, then it's going to be slightly tougher than it would be if we was to let it rest, and it's not going to be as juicy. The juices distribute much better throughout the meat if we just let it rest and let it relax. It lets the muscle of the meat relax down, and you get a much better bite. We need to get our peppers off at this point as well, get these onto a plate. These can take the 5 minute rest as well because of the oils and things that are in them sun-dried tomatoes, and that feta cheese is going to be mega hot as well. So just get these onto a plate, and I just line them up on a plate ready to slice our lamb after that 5 minutes. So our lamb's now had its rest, and we're just going to slice in there at a slight angle across the grain. We don't want to be going with the grain. You want to find the grate of the meat and go across it. It'll give you a much more tender bite. We're going to slice that through both of these, and as you can see, pull the middle section out, and it is a beautiful medium rare. It doesn't show up so well on camera, and it is really annoying. I need some more lighting inside the shack. It is on my to-do list, but along with a lot of other things, you can just about see how medium rare this is. And we're just going to fan this out across the peppers so that every time you slice in, you're going to get a piece of pepper with that filling and a bit of that lamb as well, and it's going to make for a really tasty bite. So let's go in for a taste test. We'll jump on for a quick taste test. Hope it remains quiet. Apologise if it doesn't. Want that nice piece there, and that pepper. Oh, whole pepper. Oh, 2 bits of lamb because it doesn't want to come off. Obviously didn't slice that very well. Whole pepper, bit of lamb. All falling off the fork. Straight in for some more. Bit of olive, bit of feta, bit of lamb. That lamb is beautifully tender. It makes perfect sense to stick it in the freezer for half an hour. Just let it get really cold, and it lets you get that nice medium rare all the way through, while still getting a nice bit of sear on the outside. So if you like what we're doing here at Barbecue Life, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the video. If there's anything else you want to see me cook, leave me a comment on that as well. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.